we're back with another one, bruv. It's showtime. Yes, sir. Lucid Rob. Back into this thing, man. What? Oh, man, I forgot what Agtrack says at the beginning of his videos.
What the?
Have you ever heard of the story of Gilgamesh? This story was written 2000 BC. The story talks about how he was 2/3 God and 1/3 man. The claim was that he was 17 feet tall.
Oh, man.
And he was this brutal king, like a tyrant. But the story goes that he was buried under the Euphrates River.
That's drying up.
Well, here's the thing. In 2003, archaeologist by the name of Jorg Fassbinder, he was in the Mesopotamia area doing like the whole LiDAR thing. And what he said is, I have found the tomb of Gilgamesh.
Oh my gosh.
But it's underground, right? So they have to like dig it up. Guess what happened 1 month later?
Earthquake.
The U.S. invades Iraq.
Oh my gosh!
No way.
This is where it gets crazy.
Yeah.
All the archaeological sites were then stopped in Iraq, so stop digging, you're out of here. And the U.S. military set up an encampment around the tomb site. But the locals around this encampment reported that the U.S. military were digging at...
They were digging at what? Hating the video's cut off. That's crazy, though, because I know the river's been drying up, and they found, like, Roman weapons and shit, like, all around that area from, like... where it's more shallow now, like little tiny caverns and crevices. Yeah, man, history's just gonna keep revealing itself.
The more we dig, the more we find. Here we have an image of a diploma for the American Pacific Exposition and Oriental Fair for Portland, Oregon in 1905. So 1904, they have the St. Louis World's Fair. 1 year after, we get this one in Oregon. This diploma is very interesting. As we go down to the bottom, we have a photo, and we can clearly see in the background 2 airships, both looking different. They normally don't show this form of transportation in these photos. They normally blank out the sky. But as we look up all of these countries, we see the big ones. And then we see Caucasia. Have any of us heard of a country in the 1900s named Caucasia? I personally have never heard of Caucasia, which is similar to Tartaria. All of these countries that we were never told about. But this one wasn't hundreds of years ago. This was 1905. So they are now, in my opinion, lying and telling us that Caucasia, or Caucasus, is a region that has a bunch of countries in it, including Russia, which we all know have connections to Tartaria. But let's take a look at this list again from 1905. They are already listing Russia on this map with Turkey, France, Holland, Germany, Switzerland, Italy. All of these are countries. They are not regions. I'll say it again. These are countries. Why would they then throw a region in there randomly? That doesn't make any sense. I think we are finding, in my opinion, that there is more land that we aren't being told about, that was here in the 1900s. And I think Caucasia is being hidden from us right now.
It's just a random country full of white people. They didn't know what to call it.
There's a conspiracy theory that claims that we're already dead, and the evidence comes from science. There are 2 things that are documented to happen when someone clinically dies. The first is that your entire life will flash before your eyes, and the second is that your brain keeps working 7 minutes after your body is gone. And we've literally recorded the brain still firing after death, actively creating memories. So for 7 minutes, we're in this like dreamlike state where we're reliving our entire life. And according to this guy you may have heard of, Albert Einstein, time is relative. But what does that actually mean? This is suggesting that 7 minutes in the real world could feel like 100 years in the dream state. Kind of like when you fall asleep, you dream an entire movie, then wake up 5 minutes later. Now here's where it gets weird. Some people believe that we all died in 2012. That's when the Mayan calendar predicted the end of the world. And remember, this is all just for fun, and this is just a conspiracy theory. This theory suggests that instead of an apocalypse, we collectively slipped into this 7-minute brain echo. And this right here, right now, is our dream. This is us reliving our memories. And little time glitches, little weird things like the Mandela effects, or like deja vu, or feeling like the world is off, those are just cracks in the memory trying to keep itself stitched together. So this theory is saying that that would mean that the world did end and we just haven't accepted it yet. Do you think we're 7 minutes into the afterlife?
Wait, so what does that mean for people born after 2012? Because I can totally get on board with the world ending in 2012 and that like us just basically our life flashing before our eyes, and that's why like nostalgia is like so, I guess, soothing and comforting. and why it's like made such a comeback. And it's why like fashion trends basically recycle every 40 years, 30, 40 years. Old bands that were like popular when I was in high school are popular again and putting out new albums. Maybe, you know, but like, what does that mean for, you know, people that were born after 2012? Is that just like us making that up or something? Like kind of like imagining a life beyond the life that we lived that we're re-experiencing in the 7 minutes that we're drifting into the afterlife?
The equinox asked for balance. Today, September 23rd, Neptune tests your vision. Are you seeing the truth or living a borrowed dream? The universe does not give us tests without preparation. Yesterday's call to balance was the opportunity to see in the clear mirror of the cosmic scale where our life was misaligned. Today, the direct consequence of that revelation arrives. The cosmos now confronts us not with our balance, but with the fog that prevents us from reading it correctly. The opposition between the Sun in Libra and Neptune in Aries is the final confrontation between our conscious identity, which seeks clarity, and our capacity for illusion, self-deception, and escapism. Think of Neptune as the great weaver of veils. He weaves dreams, fantasies, and spiritual ideals, but he can also weave the most beautiful and convincing mirages. The Sun, with its relentless light, represents our life force, our consciousness, our demand for the truth. Today, these two forces face each other from opposite sides of the sky, and the battle between the light of truth and the veil of illusion takes place within each of us. The result is inevitable. The veil will be torn, and what we see when it falls can be both liberating and shocking. What we will do together in this 6-chapter journey is learn to navigate this dissolution. We will dissect the nature of Neptune's veil, validate the confusing symptoms that arise when it begins to fall, and most importantly, learn to distinguish truth from illusion. Through reflections and practical rituals, we will transform this moment of potential disillusionment into an authentic and unshakable spiritual awakening. Prepare yourself. What was a facade is about to fall apart.
All right, so we're going to have to watch more of those because apparently there's 6 parts to that to figure out what the fuck's going on with Neptune. Who the fuck is Neptune? Just kidding, I know who Neptune is.
But then he slowed it way down. And it was so slow that you could almost see the air moving. Then you saw the driver take a gun and go like this and shoot Kennedy, and the bullet comes out of the gun this slow, very, very, very slow, and it hits Kennedy in the head, and you see everything flying out of his head. And I'm thinking, this isn't the tape I ever saw before. So I said, is this a doctored tape? What's this about? And he said, this is the original one. And I said, no, you know. And he said, well, I'm going to show you the one that you've seen on the media. Now, the next tape is your typical one where the driver just keeps driving, never even flinches with the gun. And he stops the tape. And he says, look at the tree. And there's the top of a tree growing in air. And he says, this is the one that you're seeing on the media. And it's been doctored. He looked very, very intently at me and he said, nothing is as it appears to be. That tape was the last thing he did before I left. And it occurred to me that that was shown so that it would provide deniability for Robert Booth Nichols. He had to have doctored that, to have put half a tree in that film. So that, you know, my ability to see the truth or to report the facts kind of goes out the window when you start describing that film. Especially if you say you believed it. I can tell you right now, I saw it. There's no question what I saw. But like he said, nothing is as it appears to be.
And that is one of many reasons why you cannot trust the media at all. Like with all the tragedies that happen and with all the events that happen. I guess they just recently said there were like 170 some odd FBI or CIA agents at Jan 6th in the crowd wearing normal clothes, like agitators. So crazy, dude. It's nuts. Like, nothing is what it seems because everything is created to tell a specific story, to get us to follow a very specific set of guidelines and lead us down this like mental path, like propaganda and agenda. So stupid. I hate it. I hate it all.
The theory gets more daring. It proposes that the world's fairs of the late 1800s and early 1900s weren't just normal celebrations. According to Tartaria theorists, they were cover-ups. Think about it. How do you hide an entire lost civilization? How do you explain away magnificent buildings that precede the official timeline? Simple. Claim you built them yourself, show them off to the world, and then destroy the evidence. The timeline alone is the biggest red flag. In 1893, the Chicago World's Fair covered 600 acres with over 200 buildings, including huge structures like the Manufactures and Liberal Arts Building. At the time, this was the largest building in the world. The official engineering records say that this entire complex was designed and constructed in just 24 months. But even modern-day engineers find such a swift timeline nearly impossible. Before you agree, let's break down what that would require. The Manufactures building alone covered 44 acres under a single roof. Its central hall could have fit the US Capitol, the Great Pyramid of Giza, Winchester Cathedral, Madison Square Garden, and St. Paul's Cathedral, all at the same time, with room to spare. Can you imagine that? The building featured intricate ironwork, complex glass exteriors, and structural details that would leave modern construction crews in awe. And we're supposed to believe this was all accomplished in less than 2 years using 1890s technology, and by workers who had never attempted anything remotely similar before. Doesn't it make you wonder too?
Yeah, that's absolutely insane. I'm calling it. That's BS. And the thing is too, like the Chicago World's Fair, like the cover up, what they're talking about is like they say it was all just like plywood and paper mache or whatever they said it was, like just really weak materials just to basically show off their abilities and like craftsmanship, kind of like a concept car. This is what we're capable of doing. Then we never actually end up doing it. But like, why would they do that? Why would they show that off? That kind of architecture, that sort of building prowess and ability to just never do it again? Because like we do get concept cars nowadays. We get cars that are very similar, or we get like a different version, kind of dumbed down version, or a more like logical version of a concept car. But like this, like we didn't get any buildings close to this after that. I don't know. It's very sus.
We're told that on July 20th, 1969, President Nixon made a phone call to the moon. His voice from a landline in the White House was relayed through NASA's massive ground stations, then beamed across 240,000 miles of space, straight to the lunar module on the moon. And they say that was possible because Earth had the big antennas, the powerful transmitters, the technology. Fair enough. This is a visual for a comedy song, by the way. We do know the official story. But now think about this. How did the astronauts send their voices back? The moon is the same distance from Earth. Radio waves don't care which direction they're traveling. They still suffer the same loss over distance. That's basic physics. It's called free space path loss. The farther a signal travels, the weaker it gets. And with the moon that far away, the signal would need to be incredibly strong just to make it back to Earth and be heard. But up there, the astronauts had no massive dish, no high-gain antennas, no high-powered transmitter, just a tiny, manually aimed antenna, barely more than an upside-down umbrella, and a few batteries powering the whole lander, less power than a household router. And yet, we're told their weak little signal punched through 240,000 miles of space, hit Earth, and came through clear enough to be heard. And even broadcast live on television. No dropout. Just perfect, clean audio and video. But that doesn't add up. Same distance, same physics. But somehow, one side needs massive infrastructure, and the other can do it with glorified walkie-talkies. If it takes all that to send a signal to the moon, Then, by the laws of science, it should take just as much to get it back. And they told you to forget the laws of science and believe that the power was only needed one way. But we don't. We don't believe that. And in there lies our problem with the whole thing.
I mean, does that surprise you? They've been telling us to trust the science or forget the science always and forever, especially the last like 5-6 years, just gonna say. And dude, I never thought about that. I never thought about that at all. Them talking to each other like live on TV while it's being broadcast. That's just another thing to be like, all right, dude, no way. There's no way. That's such a crock of shit. It's just not possible to do that at that time with that, at least to my knowledge. They also say that we have more technology in an iPhone than NASA had when they put someone on the moon, but they lost the technology to do that. Like, come on, bro, grow up. Grow up. I don't know. I think if we ever went to the moon, it's not that. It's not the footage and the phone conversations that we saw and that we were given. I think if we went up there, maybe they saw something we weren't expecting to see. Maybe they seen someone or something up there that basically told us, like, you know, don't tell anyone, or like, yo, we found something. We cannot share this with the world. Or maybe they just never went. I don't know. I know a lot of you guys are going to say they never went because the firmament or space is water or whatnot. But assuming they went and are unable to tell us, although I don't think they did, because it was just like a space race, you know, just trying to beat Russia. It went from we can't do that, doesn't matter how much money we throw at it, we're not gonna be able to do that, to like 3 months later, oh, we figured it out and now we're way in front of Russia. It's just stupid, man. I mean, I believe in outer space. I think that we're doing more than we're being told. But I'm also a big sci-fi fan, so that shouldn't surprise you. But that's it for today's video, you guys. Thanks so much for watching. I'm a little bit sick today, so sorry if my energy is a little bit down. I keep yawning and having to pause the video and sneeze and cough and stuff, but I want to get some out for you. So if it's your first time watching, watch some other videos. But if you like what you see, subscribe, you know, join the people here, the Lucid crew. I can't even think. Leave some comments, let me know what you want to see, join the Discord, send me videos, and yeah, thanks guys. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.